SmashFactor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this. He's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Well, if that intro isn't perfect into this week, I don't know what is. Welcome, everybody, back to the Smash Factor. We will be covering the Masters. We will talk about the RBC Heritage Open this week. I'm your host, Michael Ruvy. You can catch me on Twitter at Michael Ruvy. As always, I'm here with my two pals, Bucks and Gup. Bucks is coming to us via phone today, but Gup is here as well. And Bucks, you can catch him on Twitter at BPSnow11 and Gup on Twitter at IamTheGup. As always, all of our social media can be caught on all the social media outlets at Gup's Corner. We have an exciting announcement for all of our listeners. The Smash Factor is now brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Go to thrivefantasy.com, use the promo code GUP, G-U-P, and you'll receive $10 for free on your first deposit of $20. Like, deposit, get your limited time money right now. Go get that free money. Go to thrivefantasy.com. Use the promo code GUP. GUP, speaking of that, how about you let us know about our affiliations as well?
Yeah, so always we have Fantasy National Golf Club, or fantasynational.com. You can go there, go to our affiliate site, and the link directly to our members only, 20% off. So if you're a member of our website or you subscribe to the podcast, that's the only place you hear about this. Basically, prices about a month ago. So this gets you back to the increased price, and you get 20% off by either clicking that link or going to fantasynational.com/gup. That's the tools we use. So, use the tools we use and we'll help you get through there as well. We have educational series around this. We have the Slack that helps everybody when we're busy. I jump in there and see a lot of people helping others as they're getting new and familiar with Fantasy National. So it's a great thing. If you're uncomfortable, you won't be after long because you can ask any questions in our the other one is Fanshare Sports. You can go to fansharesports.com, use the code GUP, 20% off as well. Or you can go to our affiliate page and get links to all the stuff we talk about tonight. Fanshare Sports just did a big renovation to their site, mobile app, adding tools, adding some new talent on their roster to provide some different content. They're thrived around the ownership projections, especially in the golf industry, NFL. They do NBA too, I believe. But our exclusive site, we use that on NFL and golf for sure. So go check them out. Obviously, I give my rankings, my projections Wednesday night, powered through their data, Fantasy National's data, and then some of my own. But they have in-depth stuff that I won't give you, tags and plus and minus from last week and trends. And it's much more in-depth to be a pro member over there than what I'll be able to give you and give you that edge. So those are our two affiliates for tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to remind everybody, please rate and review us. Hit that thumbs up on YouTube. That goes a long way for us. We really, really appreciate that. But please go rate and review. I know that somebody got a really good package, and we're going to be sending that out. But if you were watching last night's show with our two fellow compadres here, and speaking of those, Bucks, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain whatsoever. I am in Port St. Lucie, Florida, coming live from my rental Chevy Tahoe. So all is right in the world.
Awesome. I'm very glad that you could join us tonight as well. And Gup, how are you doing after all of us were a little drained, I'm sure, after last week and then the finishing. But Gup, how are you doing? Especially you. You did a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. With the early start yesterday, it threw the whole day off. And there was a point in the evening where my wife got me to relax, and I just felt like I needed to be doing something because I've been doing something for 3 months now nonstop. But especially the last 2 weeks has been
Yeah.
It's been, and I because it ended early, we got done with the show around 2:30 my time. I went straight to the gym, got a workout in, kind of decompressed from the Tiger stuff. And I was able to get all my recap stuff out. I mean, I was basically done at like 6:00 and didn't really know what to do. So obviously spent time with my kids and family. So that was nice. We don't want to discredit the RBC this week. It's actually
It is an excellent
still
team.
DraftKings number one. So, big week, and we kind of get to take a break. As far as I know, there will not be any DraftKings next week for the Zurich. I know there wasn't last year. We'll still be providing betting angles, maybe an extra write-up there or something. If there is happen to be a fantasy, it'll be game as normal. Other than obviously our Blue Jack National trip is next weekend with Moose, Bucks, myself, and Trent, the winner. Got his flight. Moose got his flights booked. Moose is the founder of Fantasy National. If you're new to the show or just now learning, but talk to the guy that is our host there for the weekend and today, and it's going to be an amazing time. There'll be plenty of periscopes and drunken Tito bets on the par 3 at midnight. So stay tuned next weekend to your social media account, because it'll be everything, no holds bar, no pun intended, from our podcast that we have going now. But it's going to be exciting, but I'm looking forward to a week off per se. We're still going to be engaged with the community, and betting still going to be live and there, but 1 week off of, and we may do a quick preview pod. We haven't really even discussed it because we just got done with the Masters next Monday. But if not, we'll do some stuff. We'll do, I
think we lost Gup there for a second, but we're going to jump straight into the preview for this week's agenda. This week we are going to review the Masters, which, holy moly, we could spend a couple podcasts on that. And then we're going to discuss this week's RBC Heritage, which actually, I think, Bucks, you would agree that it is a very, very good field, better than anybody would expect coming off a week after the Masters.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
And we just want to remind everybody about the new pricing on Gup's Corner for premium members. But let's get into a little bit of the Masters recap, the good, bad, and ugly of the Masters. Bucks, why don't you take us away for good, bad, and ugly of the Masters?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think there's one topic that kind of overshadows everything, and I'm just going to get the ugly and the bad out of the way. The ugly would be, I broke about even. So from a DK perspective, betting perspective, it was fine. And honestly, that is 100% okay this week, because the only thing I was focused on was Tiger and the event in general. So I made a promise to myself on Thursday that I would not open DK until whoever got to 18, final group got to 18. And I did it, thankfully. You kind of know, like, I had 60% Tiger in the Millie, 70% Tiger elsewhere in all of the bigger contests. I had also like 50% Rory, so that didn't help much. But I knew kind of where I was going to stand on DK. So I made a promise not to watch anything, not to track DK, because I just wanted to enjoy the event. From a ugly perspective, again, not so much on DK, but from the event, ugly perspective would be number 12 on Sunday. We have seen it time and time again, and number 12, a seemingly easy par 3, 160 yards, 150 yards. Green is fairly narrow back to front, but pretty wide. I mean, all you got to do is get the distance right. But with those swirling winds, with the way they have the bank shaved there, it bit a lot of guys on Sunday. And we saw, in the last two groups alone, we saw Brooks, Moley, Finale, Poulter, all go into the water. And Tiger hit the green right in the middle of the green, kind of pulled it, but that's fine. And he just strolled up to the green, and he made it super interesting. I mean, Jesus, he left his lag putt 6 feet short. But number 12 would be the ugly foreshore, because that was the turning point in the entire event. Really, really fun to watch. And then the good, the great, the amazing was Tiger Woods completing the greatest comeback in the history of sports. And I don't care who you are, that is a very, very hard thing to argue right now. Because 2 years ago, we were having these podcasts and these conversations that Tiger, if he plays again, if he got healthy, he could play again, he could compete again. Would he win a golf tournament ever again? Who knew? His driving was bad. Then his driving kind of came back, and his short game was gone, and then his irons were gone. And then last year, getting past like the Honda, Tiger started to turn it on. He started to see glimpses of it. And now you see it all come to fruition. And again, there are a lot of guys that can look in kind of hindsight's 2020, right? But realistically, Tiger's had the game suited for Augusta for a long, long time. Last summer, when Tiger was getting hot, it was his iron play, his wedge play, his short game that was on fire. And that's exactly what you needed at Augusta. As long as he could keep his driver somewhat in play, which he did, he would be okay. But his driver, off the tee, he tried to give it away. I mean, number 5 alone, he hit 3 straight balls into the bunker on the left, 3 straight rounds. On 11, the final round, he smoked it 40 yards right, and luckily he hit it far enough right to have a somewhat open shot into the green, although that's a ridiculously hard shot, trying to hit a 30-yard hook towards the pond on the left. But it's just Tiger, man. That is the good, for sure, 100%. I'm sure you guys will agree, but I want to hear you guys' takes on it.
Yeah, Gup, how about you?
Yeah, it was obviously we had a little show last night, so I'll try not to harp, and I definitely want to keep this pod short tonight. Little master hangover, if you will. That's a foreshadowing for later on, but
Yes.
Obviously the great, good, yeah, it was all Tiger. And just the moment, the players afterwards, even my wife was engaged listening and a little surprised at how well he was received by Brooks. In fact, I mean, just all the guys. I mean, he's unlike some think, he does move the needle. And so, and these guys, the game wouldn't be where it's at without him, right? These majority of these kids, mid-20s, the core of golf today, most of them admit they're in it because of Tiger. So that's just, it is what it is. We've harped on it. It was amazing. I rewatched most of it last night while I was doing some work. Bad for me was probably bad. I kind of wrote my article last night on it, my little write-up. I think I wind up down about 5 stars on the week without hitting the winner. Although I said it in the article, I had a bunch of people DM and email me because my last sentence on my Gups Final Thoughts Wednesday night was that I always was going to win that tournament. Not talking draft, just who's my pick to win in general. And this week it was Tiger as my final thought. And a lot of people bet him just because of – and I made a personal bet on it, but it wasn't a bankroll management deal that I wanted to release to anybody at that point. So couldn't do that. And I didn't claim it as a win. It's not my record or anything. But that aside, not hitting an outright winner in a major, it's hard to make profit because you normally have a little more invested. I had about double what I normally do. I thought I won the Aaron Wise debutante, but I realized last night that Harding got him by one stroke. So that would have been 9-1 hit, which would have made me even on the week. So all in all, I was okay with it. I lost like 0.8 or something, 0.9 on I had 31 stars in play all 4 days on match stuff. And so to break even there on a big week like that, I'll take it. and my ugly was probably DraftKings and all in. Showdown made a little bit of a comeback Sunday, not much, and overall gained on my main slate. But I talked about it last night. I mean, I had one of my best player pools I've had. Like 92% of them made the cut, which I know it's going to happen here, but I was still 12 to 14% leverage points in the million on the amount of 6 of 6s I had. And the 3 guys that missed the cut for me, each one of them was in one of my main lineups, not in the same, but I had Garcia in one, Wallace in one, and Snedeker in one. And so, and even at that, the morning, my 5 of 6, 30, I was cashing. I knew it wasn't going to last, and it was a damn good lineup. I think Cantley, Finau, as Cantley was making his charge, he was up there. Rahm made a charge with the Eagle. I mean, all my guys went off. I just couldn't get – I looked last night. I did a quick glance, and if I have Kuchar over Garcia, which would have fit, even though the last I stopped, I was up about 40,000 on the week between the 3765, the 444, the 555. That one was, massive. Now, am I going to harp on it? No, because it is what it is. I went with Garcia, but it was just more of a point to kind of teach the community it's that damn close in golf, especially DFS golf. And so, as bad as the bad weeks are in this week by any means, I think I lost 70% of my weekly bankroll. And the community knows that I share all that, but it was one guy, one move away. Like, I can't not trust the process because I was 90% right, but it just wasn't good enough. Didn't build it right, didn't get it all in. And that's what we harp on here. Probably the only good personal for me is all 3 of my Grand Slam lineups cashed. One of them got 3rd. I won 2 other pools I was in. I had a huge pool in Dallas I'm in. I got 4th with some buddies I'm in with it up there. So pool-wise, I did well. So I couldn't put it together DraftKings, but I'm ready. I'm ready for this week. It's back to grinding and looking forward. I'm glad that we get the PGAs quick now. We don't have to wait for a big break like we did last year. And so I'm ready for it. It's time to we got our core locked in on our community, and it was a great run, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'd say that the good for me was I bet Tiger, but it was after Friday. But I still got 7-1 because I was. As we all know, I only bet 2 guys pre-tournament. I bet Rahm, and I went heavy on Rahm, and then I bet a small amount, like a really small share on JB Holmes at 150. But I saw a Tiger on Friday, and I just saw, it wasn't really a hedge because it's not a hedge, but I said, I don't know if Rahm can chase down Tiger. And so Rahm just wasn't scoring on par 5. So I said, I'm going to take Tiger. Hopefully it's either Rahm or Tiger. And then my best one and done lineup had Molinari. So I had that going as well. The bad was going back to number 12 real fast on your point, Bucks. I think that's where Tiger won it with experience. The other guys, I was talking with a PGA instructor today, just a local guy. And he's like, yeah, everybody tried to hit a fade in there. And Tiger knew that he had to hit a draw. You have to hit a draw in there and just put it in the middle because that was a sucker pin location. And it's always been a sucker pin location. And the other guys didn't know it, that if you hit it up there, and you guys know this, when you're there at 12, you can't feel any wind. There's no wind there. But if you hit it high enough, there is wind above the trees. And if they're hitting 9-iron, which they were, they can hit it high enough. And so he knew that hit a draw into the middle of the green and let these other guys that haven't played it as much. And if you look at the other guys that hit it in the water, they haven't played it as much. Finau, second time. Koepka, how many times has he played it? 2 or he hasn't. This might have been his second time, right? Because he didn't play last year. So, okay, it's 3rd time. And then Poulter hasn't played much. I know he played last year, but he doesn't make it every year. So it's just where he got him. And Molinari hasn't played it that much. So that's where he got him. Molinari just kind of fell apart on 15 also. But Dustin, surprisingly, that was a little bit of a sneaky second place for Dustin. But I won't get too much into that. So I want to give Dustin But like I said, I broke about even because my DraftKings was awful, so I won't get too much into that one. But I want to give a shout out to a couple winners. The listener league winner was Arapia, Arepea, or so Arpia. Sorry, I'm butchering that, but he had a good line of 540 points. And then the big winner that I saw was, and Gup, you sent me this one, was BWAG 66. I think he probably was 30 or 40 grand. So he had a great week there. So let's get into this week's course preview. Bucks, take it away. Hilton Head, Harbour Town at Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is one of the more iconic venues on tour. So it's a 7,000 yard, just over 7,000 yard, par 71 course. Pete Dye design, touched up by Jack Nicklaus. Fairways are super narrow, super tree lined golf course. A lot of dog legs. In fact, the majority of dog legs are dog legs left, but you have to move the ball in both directions because of how tree lined it is. Green sizes here are super small. They are almost half the size of Augusta National's greens. They're a little bit larger than Pebble Beach. The greens we'll see at the U.S. Open this year, and the greens that we saw, obviously, the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, but they're very, very small, 3,700 square feet, which is about half the tour average. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. From a golf course perspective, though, it's pretty much as I just described. I mean, you have a lot of, and it's a Pete Dye. So Pete Dye is well known for being visually intimidating off the tee, intimidating coming into the greens, fair but hard. And so you see that at Harbour Town at times. With the tree line, with the angles you have to take to get to the better positions on these dog legs, it's a really precise golf course. And that's exactly why you see so many winners being one of the higher ranked guys in driving accuracy and in stroke gain approach. And so you have a golf course that requires precision in every aspect of the game. And, I mean, just think about it. You have narrow fairways and small greens. It's pretty clear cut what needs to happen, how you need to play to survive there and succeed there. Getting into the holes, you have 4 par 3s. They average around 190 yards. You have 11 par 4s. They average 427 yards, but you do have a ton of them, 7 that are under 450. And you have 4 that are over 450. So you see a wide variety of approach shots needing to come into the green. You're going to have everywhere from literally a lob wedge or a flip sand wedge into a green, and then you'll hit a 6-iron or a 5-iron into some of these greens. And so it really tests all facets of your game. And then you have 3 par 5s. They average 547 yards. 2 of the 3 are more reachable. And then you have the 15th being almost 600 yards. But with that being said, the first 2 par 5 have a birdie or better rate of over 40%. And the majority of scoring DK points comes from par 5. And so, yes, while accuracy, while approach, while putting is super significant here, par 5 scoring is also a really good indicator, much like Augusta typically is, of finishing position. And so those are a few things to keep in mind.
Yes, thank you for that. Let's get into the key stats we're looking at. I don't think we have any weather concerns at this time. If we do, we'll update them later. But
we do.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah,
big time. Yeah, go ahead, Gup. I know you're all over it.
Yeah, right now, and we had to play this game all last week, but this is more potential because it could affect waves or stacks. And Friday's definitely dicey with rain and wind, and I think it's the same system that's supposed to come through here Wednesday, which is a bad tornadic type setup. So this isn't just a blow through shower. So definitely will be paying attention to. Right now, it doesn't look like there'd be an advantage because it looks like it's, like I said, it's going to be,
It's going to be an all-day washout.
Right.
But, I mean, that's just something we'll have
to see what that storm looks like.
So then let's get into, with that, knowing that we will get that updated more as it gets closer, I assume. But let's get into the key stats we're looking at. Gup, why don't you start us off with the key stats you're looking at?
Yeah, definitely downgrade course history this week. I do see a lot of guys that do well here continue to do well here. There's a good majority of the field that haven't played a lot here. This traditionally is always the week after Augusta. So you definitely normally see bigger names take off, but this is a more than normal, stronger field. And I think a lot of it has to do with the P being in a few weeks, back to back now. Form definitely is getting there. More than normal putting really sticks out. I know we call that, does running back matter deal, but it's there, right? And so if you can factor Bermuda or kind of look at splits, I try to look at as guys that are better on. I'm going to look at that some. Stat wise, I mean, to me, it's off the tee is what it is. A lot of people club down because of the way it laid out. And so your iron game, your ball striking, your approach, greens and reg gain is huge. As Buck said, it's small green. And then the ability to scramble in those spots are going to be big. So for me, I'm looking at fairways gain, strokes gain approach, greens and reg, and then always ball striking, and then my secret sauce. I narrowed down my sets this week. I have 5 major, kind of condensing it. I'm really going to focus in on that, and that's kind of it for the week.
Bucks, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, you heard me break it down. So I mean, driving accuracy is going to be key. Strokes gained approach. The greens and regulations, that's all of those. And then obviously strokes gained around the greens. I will have strokes gained putting in here as well, just to look at. And that might be a tiebreaker for me. But my heavy focus is going to be on the approach, just like it was last week. And I will have par 5 scoring in here as well.
I don't have much to add to that. So we'll just get straight into this week's locks, flocks, and flops, which is brought to you by AmpCaddy. Go to ampcaddy.com, type in the promo code SMASH, get $20 off your next AmpCaddy. Let's get our lock of the week, above 10K. Bucks, you're going to lead us off with this one.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a stacked field here this week, and it came down to 2 guys for me, Bryson or Kuchar. And with the way Kuchar's been playing and knowing what we know about this course, where you just need to be accurate off the tee, you need to have elite iron play, I'm going to have to go Kuchar. I mean, it's not even between Bryson and Kuchar, it's not that hard of a decision when you think of it that way. Kuchar's been phenomenal off the tee. He's 3rd in strokes gain approach, 1st in greens and regulations gained. And then past that, I mean, you think of Kuchar as this steady Eddie plotter type guy, but he's 2nd in strokes gained par 5. So Kuchar is just playing phenomenal golf this year. He has been all year. He's going to be my lock this week.
Gup, how about you?
So in rare form, I agree. I'm agreeing. I went Kuchar this week. Which, if you listen to the show, that does not happen often, especially on the lock. But Bryson was, he's one I thought about. I worry so much of his focus the last 2 weeks was to make his clubs and shafts and everything to be ready for Augusta. But I mean, last year, although he was a little more unknown. Not unknown, but definitely, less popular in the DFS world. I think, he was 60-something hundred at the Masters last year. So He got a T3 here, so he's right there. For the reasons Buck said, though, I mean, if Cooch is going to show up and play, and if people think about the fatigue and all that, it's not going to really be a factor. And we've harped on that before. These guys don't show up to just do nothing. But he won it in 2014. He's got just tremendous course history. His worst was last year, T23. Everything else has been T11 or better. He's number 2 overall in my stat model. It's easy. I'm going Kuchar this week. DJ is obviously number 1 in my model. I think for the $1,600, I'll go Kuchar.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Gub, and I'm actually in agreement with all of you guys on Kuchar as well. I know he's probably going to be someone's fade this week, but I am intrigued by Molinari because when last time he lost, and I know it wasn't at a major, when he lost and kind of got second, I think he lost to Michael Kim, and then he came back and won the next week or something like that. But I'm intrigued by Molinari because he is a straight hitter, a straight driver. He didn't show that at the end, but I'm interested to see where Molinari goes as far as his ownership goes this week. So, but Kuchar would be my lock of the week. Let's get this week's flocks. So, who is your core? Start with you, Gup.
Yeah, so a little more spread out. Definitely, this will be something I improve upon as we get closer to Wednesday, and in the articles and down to the chat. I don't think the weather may play a play on how we approach stacks or anything like that, but overall, probably one thing we didn't mention: the weather's going to be gorgeous leading up to Friday and even Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. This is one major system sweeping through the Midwest, right, and down even through here through Texas. This isn't a 4-day event or anything. The first guy that kind of popped to me, loves this place, continually plays it well, did his normal T20, T30 last week at the Masters, is Kisner. He's playing well. Mm-hmm. He had a T69 here in 2016. Other than that, his last 4 has been 2nd, 11th, 7th. So I like where he's at. Course fits his style perfectly. And he's probably in as good as form he's been in many years coming into this event. So I like Kisner. He finished strong Sunday at the Masters. Definitely don't mind going there. Who would have been my lock of the week was 10K or above. And right now it's probably one of my plays is Cantley. I kind of was mad that he made the run he did Sunday because he may be a little more on the radar than what he was. I've been on Cantley forever. Love the kid. I think he's an elite talent that's just had some terrible things with health and his friend dying and everything. And I think you got to act like he's only on like his 2nd year. He's just now getting back into that groove. He's got a T3 and a T7 here, so he loves the course. Putting's a little bit of a worry. It's the only thing that kind of keeps you, and we saw it late, after he got the lead. But I love everything about Cantley, so he's in there. And then the last one, and same deal with him. Putting's a little bit of an issue, but everything else is just off the charts for me. Is Benny on? I love him / Sung Jae. They're right. They're probably 3A, 3B for me, and so those are the 4 guys, if you will, and the last 2 are just right neck and neck. Sung Jae's got a little bit better overall statistics for me than Benny. Benny's just solid right now, and his stats don't seem to always predict his future here. Each week, but we said it. You said it forever. He's going to win at some point. And I certainly think this could be it as well. So those are the guys I'm kind of building around right now.
Bucks, how about you?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Kisner, Bucks, or Gup, because I really like him this week. So I will throw his name out since you covered him. My first guy is going to be Webb Simpson. When I think of a track like this, I think of the Simpsons, the Simpsons, the Kisners, those type of players that have been solid players on tour, have competed, have contended, have won on tour without being the longest players. And to do that, you have to have elite iron play, great short games, great putting. I love Webb this week. His iron play is solid. His putting is great. He does everything well. He hits a ton of fairways too. So I love Webb this week. The next guy, I mentioned in the breakdown is going to be Kokrak. Kokrak really likes this golf course, number one. And then when you mix in the fact that, I mean, Kokrak he does have 2 cuts here. Let me just preface that. But before that, he has 3 straight top 20s. And Kokrak's been playing amazing of this entire year. So I really like Kokrak as well. And then moving down the list, I'm interested. I'm going to watch his ownership throughout the week. But Zach Johnson is a guy that I am all over right now. Obviously, he has not been playing great when you look at his entire year. But with that being said, if there's ever a course that suits his game that he may feel comfortable at, where it isn't something that he feels he has to overpower, it's going to be this golf course. And he's in a spot right now where he needs to take advantage of something to get right back on track heading into the U.S. Open, the British Open, all of these big tournaments coming up. So I really like Zach Johnson, and I think his price is probably indicative of his recent play, but I think it's a really solid price for an elite skill set for this type of golf course.
Well, Gup took all of my guys that I had marked down. So I'm going to – I had Sungjae, Benyon, and Kisner as the first 3. And then so –
Perfect.
So I love those guys as well. I'm not going to continue what Gup said because he said it much better than I will. I will add one other guy to that, though, and that's Ryan Moore coming off very good showing. This is the type of course for Ryan Moore as well. And his price, I think he's, I guess, Bucks. I think maybe it's the class of the field because this field is so good that his price seems a little low for me at 8,100. But probably class of the field. The field is very strong this week. But Ryan Moore would be another guy that I like this week, and it seems like this course could fit him well. How about the flops of this week for you? Let's start with you, Bucks, on this one. 2 guys that you don't think will return that value.
First guy for me is I'm actually going to say Moley. I think at his price, I mean, he has the T5, and I'm not saying he's not an elite player because he obviously is. I just feel like after last week that this is going to be a bit of a letdown because of what transpired on Sunday. But we'll just have to see. It has nothing to do with stats, nothing to do with recent form, nothing to do with course history, any of that. Golf's just one of those things where there are certain events, certain situations where mentally you're just not there, and this is definitely one of those, lining up to be one of those for a guy like Moley who just had a battle this entire past week. So I'm going to say Moley first, and then I'm going to go back. I think I mentioned this guy like a week or 2 ago, but I'm going to go back to Justin Harding. $7,900. I don't know. There's so many good players right around him, and I know he's a solid talent. I just can't see paying $7,900 for a guy that, frankly, I don't see playing well here.
Gup, how about you?
Yeah, so my first one was going to be Molly as well, and he just hadn't played well, and I think his value price wise is way up there. I imagine he's going to be low owned, but maybe not. Maybe because he led all the way going into the back 9. People think good bounce back. I don't know. Great recent form. Stats are good. Not great. They're not. They're really good. Obviously, like Buck said, now that you're at that 11,300, you now have to. Right, T5, probably T3-ish to get up in those points. So And I would just I think DJ may go low owned because I think it may turn into a balanced week, and I'd rather go up to DJ if I'm going to go up there anyways. The second guy was actually a guy that Buck said. Zach Johnson was a guy that there's actually two, so I'll give it 2A, 2B. Zach Johnson and Corey Connors. I think Connors is going to come in. I like him a lot, but I have a feeling he's going to and then
you're good. Go
this
ahead,
way.
go.
Okay, yeah, winning and then doing was first round lead or clubhouse first round leader Thursday morning, so kind of got some name in, and now he's 7,300 only, but he's missed a cut the only two times he's played here, and if he's just going to be, I like him, but if he's going to be massively owned, I'll fade Connors, and then Zach Johnson doesn't do it for me anywhere. He was kind of one of the first on the list. It's way down. Doesn't have a here, which shocked me because I had this kind of in my head like he'd beat Fit It Well, and so he was one that I picked as well.
I'm probably going to be on an island on this one. I bet he's probably going to be pretty popular, but Webb Simpson was a guy that I know he played well at the Masters, and I think that he obviously played well at the Masters. He didn't have great form coming into the Masters, but like you said, it's golf and you just turn it around, and he turned it around. I'm not on Webb this week. His last 12 rounds, he's actually been poor with his approach in the last 12 rounds. And so, but he obviously found something at Augusta, but probably won't play Webb much this week. The last guy, I'm confused on what to do with him, but so that means I'll probably just won't play him. I think he's going to be really popular just because used to be known as the Luke Donald Open. And last year, we all baited him because it was going to be super popular and he missed the cut. So I think that was a good call on our part last year, but it's Luke Donald. So I know he's coming off the top 10 at Valspar, but I won't be playing Luke Donald this week as well. All righty, let's go into the sleepers of the week. One or two guys under 7,000. Gup, lead us off.
Yeah, and we haven't really had a good sleeper pool recently, but I actually have a few I like here, and we'll definitely this will be a Wednesday decision as far as narrowing them down. Unless I go to a bigger build this week, maybe 20 or so in the 40 worth them. But Bryden Stewart was on the short list. Rory Sabatini was on the short list. Troy Merritt for 6,200 is a guy that just kind of popped. And being the price and where he is up in the model on especially stats and his history. He got a third back in 15. He's been playing okay. He's kind of there, but the guy right now kind of locked in as my, under the radar maybe, and really kind of been on him a lot lately with this whole transformation. Is Scott Stallings at 6,800.
You bastard.
He took every one of mine. I think I had like 5 backups and they all got picked.
Well, I only picked one. I just wanted to list some out because I know we're going quicker. But Stallings is a guy that he played here last year. He's coming in better form than he ever has. Obviously, lost the weight. T23 at the Valero, T9 at the Valspar. For 6,800, I definitely have him on the short list, and he's my sleeper of the week right now.
Bucks.
So
you can go with him again.
Yeah, I had three guys starred. Stallings, I think he's playing great right now, feeling great. Stewart is a guy that I really like this week. He's played the RBC 4 times in the last 5 years, has not missed a cut yet, and he's playing really good golf right now. And then the last guy that this is a pure gut play, guy's been not playing well, but when I look at a golf course like this that you need to drive the ball well, keep it in play, but have elite iron play, I'm going to be playing a little bit of CT Pan this week in hopes that he gets back into his late spring, early summer form that we saw last year at this time as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because he has not played well at all, right? I mean,
he has not played well.
No. You guys named a bunch of mine, but Stewart and Stallings I both love. But I'm going to go to one that this guy hasn't missed a cut since the Sony Open, and he's $6,600 this week. Wyndham Clark is playing really, really well. So Wyndham Clark he's gained strokes off the tee every tournament that he's played since the Sony. He's coming off a really good Valero, played well there, has a 7th at the Honda. So you saw him there, Gup, at the Honda. That's a kind of a course where you kind of club down, I would say, a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot more water, I'd say, at the Honda. But Wyndham Clark is a guy that I like this week, so he will be my sleeper. All righty, how about let's do some head-to-head picks. We're just going to do a couple this week. We're not going to do a lot, but I will name off 2 players, and I'm just going to let you guys pick them this week. I'm going to make it go a little quicker this week. Siwoo Kim or Billy Horschel? Go.
Actually, I was going to bring up Horschel later. His form is garbage, so I'll go Siwoo. Even though I think he's going to be chalk, I probably won't be on him, but I will fade Billy.
Okay. Buck, same with there?
Same thing.
I
completely agree.
This is probably a little bit more polarizing. How about Spieth or Furyk? Go.
Man. Furyk is number 2 in the model of whatever. Right now, I'm probably not going to play either. I will, I'll go back to if Spieth's going to start coming back in at lower owned. I'll still go to him as a leverage, but finished T21. He kind of showed flashes, but we'll see where he starts coming in. If it was just straight up pick, I'd have to go Furyk because he's just playing so much better and better form. Bucks.
I'm going Furyk.
All righty. Russell Knox or Luke List?
So Knox for me, he's flirting with my core this week for sure. I love him. He's definitely high in my player pool and like him a lot.
Seems like a course for him. I agree. Bucks?
Yeah, I am going to go Knox as well. Not because I dislike – not because I think he's a great player. I just look at this golf course. I don't know how in the hell Luke List, with his skill set – top 5 here last year. Like, good Lord.
Well, he did it at the Honda, remember, too. It's kind of like when he clubs down, it might be better for him.
I mean, I guess. But I just don't think of him as an elite ball striker. But with that being said, it's going to be Knox, period.
All righty. Matt Wallace or Keith Mitchell?
I'll let Bucks go first.
I'm going Mitchell because Matt Wallace destroyed me last week, so he's off my list for a week. Timeout.
Yeah, he hurt me as well. I would lean Mitchell right now. Neither one are on my short list.
All right, let's get into the roundtable real quick. Let's talk about a couple guys that weren't mentioned or very lightly mentioned. Gup, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I mean, DJ, we touched on. I'm interested to kind of hear the industry community tomorrow. He has to win or finish top 3. He played here for the first time, maybe ever, I think, last year. Obviously, he's an RBC guy. He's number 1 all across the board for me, so it's not a shocker. But if he's going to be low owned, I'll go there. If he's like the class of the class and everybody's on him, I don't mind, going down. Lucas Glover was a guy that I wrote down for, pretty good history here, especially for the Pro 800. I mean, just great form, T10, T13, T14. Fleetwood was a guy that hasn't played here. I think this is a change for him due to the scheduling. I like him a lot this week. I'll see how popular. He's always kind of a popular guy, so it could be a potential, a pivot just because. Poulter was a guy that great history here as well. T7, T11 last 2 years, really good form, played great last week that I like. Probably guys, last one that's on the list didn't really mention much of was Snedeker. He's iffy for me at any time. I always get him wrong. I got him wrong last week, but I think he burned a decent amount, maybe not a bunch, but some people. Great. Yeah, he killed me. Yeah, but he's there, and then just one down the list guy. Seen him a lot. He was at the Valero. He plays well. I think this could be a good course for him. Stats are just in the middle of the field is Answer. Obviously, I love him a lot. Followed him at the match play as well. So Answer's one I like.
Bucks?
Yeah, there's a couple guys. One is going to be Charlie Hoffman. I think this course kind of suits him. He's starting to play better. When you look at his rolling stats, it obviously is improving the last few weeks. You look at a guy, let me see, where did he go? You look at a guy like Ian Poulter. Ian Poulter, I like. He obviously didn't have the Sunday he hoped for last week, but not super long, accurate off the tee, solid iron player, solid short game, and obviously he is in form right now. And then the last guy I'm going to mention that I like this week, and is kind of trending in the right direction, is Emiliano Grillo.
Awesome. Yeah, the one guy I wanted to mention real quick, at the bottom probably of a lot of people's price points would be Kevin Streelman. He has a really good history here, by the way. 2 top 10s in the last 5 years, hasn't missed a cut here. Coming in really good form with a 6 at the Valero. So Kevin Streelman is a guy that I like this week, coming off his good form. Siwoo Kim burned me here last year because I had the outright on him at 100-1. I know we mentioned it briefly. And if he gets too popular, that's kind of a play that I would probably fade off of. But Siwoo Kim, I know I hate to say it, like he plays the Pete Dyes pretty well, but he's been so inconsistent this year. He plays well, then doesn't play well, but he played well at the Masters, and he finished well. So Siwoo Kim is another guy. One other guy we didn't talk about much that I think will be popular, and he has burned people a lot this year, and then they jumped off him, and he's done well. Lucas Glover. I'm interested to see where his ownership lies come Wednesday, but this seems like a good fit for him. He is playing very good golf this year, so that'll be an interesting to watch going forward. The betting strategy now for this week. Let's get into it. Gup, what do you like below 40-1?
Yeah, this was a week that, and I sent out my early plays to the Slack community a little earlier. I just kind of went through the card and it just kind of came together pretty well. And I have a lot more locked in, on a Monday evening than I normally do. Obviously, getting the community, you get those, but when you got a guy like DJ up there, Bryson, it gets a little, worrisome to go too heavy because those guys can win any time. I like Cantley. I said that already. He's 20-1. If you go there, you obviously got to have a shorter card and kind of lay a little bit out. I really think he's due to win, and I like him a lot. Couldn't go wrong with Kuchar, Fleetwood, Kisner. All those guys are just right there. We talked about it already. Again, short odds under 40, right at 40. A couple, like 3 guys I like, and these were all on 5 dimes. Is Benyon, Kokrak, and Sungjae are 3 guys that they're on the short list to make the card. So a pretty stacked card. Most of my cards probably going to come from 20 to 80, but those are the guys that come off for me.
Bucks, how about you?
Yeah, it would just be 2 for me. It'd be Kuchar and Simpson. I just think a Kuchar being like 20-ish, that's crazy value. I mean, he should be top, in my opinion, he should be top 3 or 4 odds for the event. So I really like Kuchar.
All righty. I'm with Gup. I put the Benny on actually and Sungjae Im at 40-1 apiece on those. I'm not getting 100-1 on Siwoo Kim this year, so that sucks. But no, I'm not putting the Siwoo in though. But those are the only ones I had there. How about 45-75? Gup.
Yeah, Glover was kind of on the list. Knox is definitely on the list. I like him. You mentioned Moore earlier. Moore's in my player pool right now. My first cut. Snedeker, don't mind going there. And then at the very bottom, I'd like Answer at 70. Would probably be as low as I go.
How about you, Gup or Bucks?
Moore and CH3. the two guys that I really like.
I'm seeing CS3 at 40, but that's still pretty good. You're right.
He's 45 on mine.
Oh, perfect. Even better then. All right. Yeah, Leishman seems like good value. I don't know. Just at 50, if I'm just looking at one of the top 25 players in the world, he sticks out in that group at 50 to 1. Like if he's priced with Luke Donald and Aaron Baddeley and Russell Knox, I would classify him as a better player. I'm not sure if the course fits him, but I would classify him. So that might get my money later. But Luke List at 66, I'll probably do it just because I don't want to be the one guy that doesn't put that in this week. So you didn't have anything above that, Gup?
Above what?
70, or did you? Sorry.
Are we past 70 now?
Yeah, over 75. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I had others. I was just ending it at answer.
Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry.
Up
to 120.
Yeah. Palmer's a guy that's been just playing pretty good. I don't know. He kind of lost his driver at Valero, so that worries me a little bit. But if he's clubbing down, this may be a decent course for him. I may bite off some Champ just because I think the value that he has now compared to what perceived value was, 2 months ago, at 125, I don't think this course really fits his game at all. But, at 125, obviously Scott Stallings at 110 is probably going to make the card. And that's maybe Dahlman. I have to go. Nick Taylor played great at Valero. I really liked his game, followed him a little bit. And that's about it up to 125.
Bucks?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys that kind of pop out to me. That would be Russell Henley, even though he's not been playing great. Just think the odds are there. And then Scott Stallings.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this guy. I might play him more DK. I probably won't bet him, but Jonas Blix at 100, but maybe a DK play for me. But I was shocked, Gup, when I looked at the Champ number and I saw next to him JJ Spawn. Because I just I don't know. I think I sent you guys the text. I was like, that doesn't seem right to me. So I'll obviously be doing my $5 a week JJ Spawn donation. But that won't come to fruition, I'm sure. But I got Wyndham Clark though at 125. I do like that. So anything above that, Gup?
No, I mean, the guys you just mentioned, just to say, and this may have changed, but when I pulled it, Clark was 150 and Blix was 160. So those are really
better numbers than I'm getting. Yeah.
And it may have went down. I just know that that's on there.
I doubt that went down that much though, right? For Blix.
I wouldn't think so, but
yeah.
I'll probably have a FOMO bet. I mean, I will on Armour. That's pretty standard for me.
Seems like a good value though for him, right? This week,
it should fit. I'm surprised it didn't come out better in the DraftKings yet, but he may as we get a little. He's a guy that I'll watch, but I won't force it. But betting wise, HV3 really played a lot better at the Valero, and if he could steamroll that in this week at 150, that's a good number. Outside of that probably be as high as I go anywhere on the card.
Bucks.
Yeah, there's a couple guys kind of deep here that I'd kind of throw a few at just in case. Nick Taylor, the Postman. You have Trey Mullinax, Vaughn Taylor. I mean, all of those guys are worth a dart. But, I mean, honestly, with this as stacked as this field is, it'd be a miracle if one of those guys hit. So.
Yeah, I'm with you on the field being stacked. HV3 actually came out really well in my DK rankings, Scott, but I was very interested in him. So at 150, I think that is actually pretty good value for him.
Yeah, and Armour's not bad either. He's not as, I mean, I just got these done before the show, but he's higher than I thought he would be. So he's probably gonna he may make the card as well.
Yeah, I mean,
when you look at Varner too, he's trending in the right direction. I mean, he goes from 66 to 33rd to top 20 in stat rankings in the rolling report.
Yeah, I mean, he's been getting better because I've been off of him, and he has been getting better.
For sure.
The defending champion is 150, but I don't like it because he's not good. But That's Kadira. But Sabatini at 150 interests me more than Kadira. Last year he was 90 here.
Who?
Sabatini.
Oh yeah, I know that Mayo hit his 20K week this week last year with Kadire. But he had outright on Siwoo, so he was really win-win there at the end.
Yeah, and I was the loser in that situation. I think Feinberg was also. We both had the Siwoo, and that's it. But that's all I have there. I think unless you guys wanted to any more additions there.
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Cool. One and done standings update. Bucks 2.25. I've got 2.625, and Gup is double me at 5.1. Still a lot of time left, but that was a lot of hits in that Masters. But God, if the Molinari one hit, I would have been top 10 in my other one. But
gotta give a shout out to Mrs. Gup. She is now the leader in the clubhouse in the Guptill household. Although I have two inside the top 150, I think she's I think she got up to 111th with Tiger this week and has now overtaken me. So
a couple of people. One guy had all three. I forgot who it was. I saw it on Twitter, but he had all three Tigers. Like, good for you, dude. That's awesome. Like, that's conviction. How about your pick for this week? Let's start with you, Bucks.
Webb Simpson.
You haven't used Webb yet? I think
apparently.
I think you've used Webb. Used him at the match play.
Damn it, Ruvy.
You're good. I've done it before. I just remember you used him at the match play.
Let me pull it up. I just made my picks.
You're good. Gup, go ahead.
Kuchar is
Webb Simpson.
Okay. Webb Simpson.
I think he may have said it but didn't put it in that week, so he may not have used Webb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saving him for the right week, baby.
So Cantley would be my one and done, but I can't take him. I've already taken him in this one that we're in, just in case people want to know. But Kuchar is going to be my one for this one because I've already used Cantley. So, and Cantley's going to be in my number 2 team. So Kuchar's the one for ours, though.
I've used Cantley as well, and I've actually used Benny On. I was going to use Benny On. I'm going to go Sung J M. I'm going to go Sung J. Earlier this show, I thought this would be a good fit for Albertson, another Webb guy, but I'm going to go with Sung J M for mine.
Nice. I like Sung J M this week. I mean,
I love him every week.
Just keep the ball in play, dude, and your iron game will contend. So.
Yep. Alrighty. Reminder for everybody: 9:00 Eastern, Wednesday night. Again, we're back on track. 9:00. We'll have all the regular articles out as well. Please join us if you're a member. If not, join up. It is a very lively crew. Everybody has a great time in the Slack, in the chats. We're very interactive. Gup, what else do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so talked with the guys this morning, and already first thing this morning had a lot of people that had, I don't know, that typical, not really FOMO because they really did miss out, but now they're wanting to, hey, can you give me the offer one more time? Can you give me the offer one more time? No, it's not. I mean, we promote it for 8 weeks, so that's not going to happen. But we did decide for 1 week we're going to call it the Master Hangover Promotion. So if you use the code Hangover when you're picking your package, weekly, monthly, or yearly, you get 25% off your package, and this code will be good through Sunday. So Sunday at midnight Eastern Standard Time, the code will expire, and it's good for anybody that wants to use it. It's not a secret or anything. Obviously, the guys listening here, we'll do a couple Twitter promotions as well. But one-time only code. If you missed out and you regret it, this will at least give good chance to get, and the 25% off is the highest percentage we're ever going to give when we do a discount or a promotion or code. So go ahead and get in now, before we close that off and go to full standard next Monday.
That's all. Bucks, you have anything?
Nope. Let's have a good week.
All righty, everybody. We will see you in the chats. If not, we'll see you around. We'll see you next week.
SmashFactor.